Hey guys, Joe Haney here. After I finished my twirly tilt project, my niece Kara suggested that I try a smokeless fire pit, and I didn't know anything about them. I've never heard of them. So I went and did some research online, and they're pretty cool. You can buy for $500–600. You can buy a commercial one. Basically, what it consists of is an inner ring metal, an outer ring, kind of concentric rings, sealed on top. On the bottom of the outer ring are a bunch of holes drilled. That draws in the cool air. On the inside of the inner ring are a bunch of holes drilled. And as that cool air comes in, when you build a fire in it, then it heats. And when it comes out the top, out of those inner holes on the inner rim, it burns the smoke particles, which are really just unburned particles. And that heated air coming in captures that. And I did build it, and I'll kind of share with you some of what, some of my process and my thinking and my design. And one of the things that I saw in it is as the heated air comes, the smoke starts rising up, then it hits that heated air, and then it kind of draws down and then comes back up and burns. I also saw a little bit of a tornado, kind of a swirl inside. Really fascinating technology. Decided to make mine out of stone and mortar for the outer ring, and then bought an inner ring that's about 36 inches, 3 feet across on the lip. And it's a vertical ring that goes around and then has a lip around it. So that kind of was cool because I'm able to lay that down, and it forms that chamber between the outer ring, which is stone in my case, and the inner ring, which is this metal thing. So without further ado, let me just kind of show you how I put this thing together. Thanks. So to make the form to build the walls of the fire pit, I cut a couple of 3-foot circles out of some old plywood, as well as 6 10.5-inch long 2x4s. Now I set the 2x4s on top of one of these pieces, and then I'll lay the other piece over the top and screw it down. Then flip it over and screw the other side. So I cut a couple of 1/4-inch thick pieces of plywood, about 1 foot wide or 8 feet long, and I got them wet. Been soaking them in this ditch. You can soak them some other way if you like, but trying to get them pliable so that they can so I can wrap them around that frame I just built. I'm screwing this piece, this wet piece, which is pretty flexible, down to follow the circumference of this thing and make kind of a big tuna can. So I've got an 8-foot long 2-inch pipe, and I've marked that every 8 inches so that I can cut those off, and I'll end up with 12 of these 8-inch tubes. All right, I'll rub this down with some oil to keep it from sticking. I've spaced the 12 pipes fairly evenly, sticking out about 7 inches. Lay down some mortar between those pipes and put in some rocks. So despite having oiled this form, you can see that the mortar seeped in a little bit, and it was kind of hard to take out. I cut a couple of hand holes in the top, and with my wife and I on either side of it, we were able to kind of jimmy it out. I did take a sledgehammer and kind of knock it all the way around a little bit to loosen it. and I will show you the frame with the rocks. And the inside, you know, as I took it out, I lost a rock or two. And I'll adjust those when I make a lip around it. So far, this is it. And you can see that there are little pipes coming out all the way around. The inside of this is predictably cracked and has holes and rock between the rocks. So I'm going to try and put some mortar around the inside and let it dry. See if this works. So I got my fire ring, and it comes in 4 sections, and the idea is to drill holes all along the top. That's where the hot air will burn into or escape into the middle of the fire ring and burn up the smoke, the unburned particles. And I'm just doing this with my bench drill, and just go slow and steady. I think I'm going about 470 rotations per minute, and it's one of these taper drill bits, so if you go slow and steady, it goes right through. So now for the finish. Because there's some gaps between the ring and the inner ring and the outer ring, that my stonework wasn't perfect, I decided to put some landscaping stone along the top to plug all of those. I went to Home Depot and found some kind of natural looking stone stuff, and this is the finished fire pit. You can see the inner ring, you can see the holes going around it on the top, and the ring and this mesh underneath sit on top of some pipes that go in, these little pipes here, and there are 12 of them that draw in the cool air, so they're able to sit kind of above that. There's an area dug out a little bit below this mesh that I'm using for catching ashes and to give some air flow from under the fire. But the primary airflow that we care about is the stuff that goes up the inside of this ring, between the outer ring and that ring, so that it can heat up based on the heat that's coming off that fire, and then come out these holes up on top and cause a secondary burn. Well, there it is. Finished product. The Smokeless Fire Pit. Working pretty well at this point. Just heat and flame coming out of there.